And a good morning to all of you out here in this beautiful world. Happy to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. They can't wait to see you here in the new year. And you can get a sneak peek of all the inventory of new and used vehicles, buying and leasing. Go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. That's GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Appreciate your patience here this morning, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Wherever you are, we are grateful to have you here with us, tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, once the shows go live, they hop into the archives. You can find a bunch of our episodes, over 2,000 on Podbean alone, by going to search us on any one of these outlets: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that today, and we appreciate everybody that has shown us love over the years on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and has found us on all of these outlets. Of course, it's a Monday, so inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', I want to let y'all know, remind y'all that this is Valentine Week. And with this being Valentine Week, you better get out to Ma and Pa's and make sure that you get those sweet and savory treats for the ones that you love. You can go out there to 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Go and see them. Let them know that DT sent you. They are closed on Mondays, but you can hop in there tomorrow and throughout the week. Do not delay. Make sure you get your Valentine's goods today at Ma and Pa's. Murph is here with me on a Murph Monday. Of course, we start off the week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Brendan Murphy, fellow broadcaster of many years, and happy to have him here. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Brendan Murphy, and always appreciate having Murph on the show, as him and I will discuss with you the title game the morning after. That is right. We're here to talk about that game, the big game, the one we can't call the Ooper Soul, but we can call it the SB. So we can call it the SB 60, and that's, so we'll do that, or call it the big game. The Seahawks won the game 29-13 over the Patriots, and this game was turning out to be a game that might be in a place where the Patriots didn't score. And based on the way people felt about the college football playoff, I thought, well, if the Patriots don't score, is somebody going to say don't let them in the playoff next year? Because that's how some people talk about the CFP. So, happy to be here with you. We're going to talk about the game. A lot of things to get into, including what stuck out to us about the game. What predictions did we get correct? Who are the players of the game in our opinion? What about Sam Darnold? And why is my mom so excited immediately following the game? We'll get into all of that here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios as we start off the morning after the big game. SB 60. Murph, how we doing?
I am walking on a great high right now. Even though it was not Sam Darnold in his Jets uniform winning a championship, I'm still glad he won a championship. And he beat the damn Patriots.
Yeah.
That is a public service that America absolutely needed. So thank you, Sam. Congratulations on getting your first ring, getting a ring before Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, his cohort from the 2018 draft class. I'm happy. I really am. I felt like I was rooting for Seattle as if it was the Jets in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it really it really felt like I was rooting for Sam Darnold as if he was still on the Jets. But I'm thrilled for him. It was a phenomenal game. Got to hang out with my dad and watch the game, so that was a great time. The dog kept taking my seat, so I had to move spots on the couch. But yeah, it was great. Enjoyed a few adult beverages. My mom made wings, which were phenomenal. So it was a great time.
Yeah, no, it was a phenomenal game, awesome game, and I'm happy that you got to be home with mom and dad and spend some quality time with them because that is always priceless. And of course, with your dog, Miss Molly, I was here with Lily, mom and dad, and Isaac came over, so we had a good time. Isaac brought his world-renowned, for the first time ever, I got to try chili and cornbread. So we had that. We had pizza and wings. My mom brought over a dessert she used to make when I was growing up as a kid with like the coconut and the marshmallow and all that. And I'm trying to think what else we had. My dad brought over Lincourt Bakery donuts, best donuts in the world. So we had ourselves an awesome time and it was a good game. Listen, people get weird when it's like, oh, it's a low scoring game and it's boring and the winds are out of the sails and all that stuff. And I look at this and I say, hey, if your defense is strong, then kudos to you. That's awesome. I like watching two defenses go at it. And these two defenses started off the game going at each other, and it was who's going to break the dam first. And I went into the game saying, I just feel like the Seahawks are the team, if I have to put it on somebody, that can actually score the points. Now, both of these defenses have held teams multiple times to teens this year, but the Seahawks did it more. And the Seahawks did it again in this game. This defense has been so good, so stout, and consistent. And as good as the Patriots are, the Seahawks were better this year. And they showed it in this matchup. They showed it in this game. And, Sam Darnold, both quarterbacks didn't have fantastic days. It did not look pretty in certain areas, but they did what they needed to do, and they got the job done. Speaking of the Seahawks, and then the Patriots, they woke up at a certain point, and they made it interesting down the stretch. Drake May did some good things later on in the game. He definitely helped the team out. And so, give credit where credit's due. But ultimately, we got to see the Seahawks get another title. They now join a group of franchises that have multiple title games in the NFL that they can claim as their own. And, here we are this morning with Seattle having a great time. I want to give a shout out to Nico Tamarian, who used to be in Syracuse in the media, worked his tail off, got himself out to Seattle. He's been covering the Seahawks since he got out there, and he got to celebrate this. He got to experience this. He got to, be a part of this run. So, Nico, I hope you had a great time. I hope you took in the confetti. I hope you took in those big moments, and I hope that this is only the beginning of great things for your career and all the aspirations you have for you and your family. So God bless you on that. Murph, first thing that stuck out to you on the game?
Well, other than the fact that the Patriots got their butts kicked, sorry, not sorry to your Central and Upstate New York Patriots fans. Yeah, I think the number one thing that stuck out to me is the fact that you couldn't vote for Jason Myers to be the MVP until it was too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
He single-handedly outscored the Patriots. When the fourth quarter opened and they had the Super Bowl MVP, I was voting, but I'm looking for Jason Myers. I'm looking for the kicker. I'm like, I'm going to vote for the kicker for MVP. He was not an option. The NFL had to go in and add him as an option, and they only did it with about 5 minutes left in the game. So there was no way he was going to get enough votes to be the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Did it again. I'm sorry. We both know it's tough. It's I'm not gonna draw that out, but
yeah,
they didn't give you enough time to vote for him for MVP. It was basically, I was voting for Sam Darnold. I knew it was going to be Ken Walker, but I wanted to see if I could maybe push Sam across the finish line. Although he really didn't look great.
No.
He made the plays that needed to be made, but there were some throws that he definitely should have made. That he didn't. Tip of the cap to Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots, though.
Yeah.
Played the game of his life.
Yeah.
And it's going to be forgotten because they got blown out. But yeah, it's that number one thing for me is the fact that you couldn't vote for Jason Myers to be the MVP, which I think was ridiculous because I think more people would have voted for him had he been an option from the beginning. I would have spammed him with votes. I spammed him with votes once I saw that he was actually on the list.
Yeah.
I probably voted for him close to 100 times, but I know it's not going to be nearly enough.
Well, and I looked at, I mean, I totally understood going into it, and we were talking about it in my home last night. And, as soon as I put up the information that Kenneth Walker III had been voted as the MVP of SB 60, there was an immediate response that it should have been the kicker. Jerry Hart just wrote into the show and said, should have been the kicker. So,
Absolutely should have been the kicker.
and listen, it makes total sense. I want to bring people down memory lane a little bit here with a guy named Jason Myers. So Jason Myers started out as a Jacksonville Jaguar, and Jason Myers missed a bunch of field goal attempts for Jacksonville at Lucas Oil Stadium when he was going up against the Colts.
Surprise! It's unlimited cash
So he's
back,
going up
Gary.
against the
Hey,
Colts,
Manning.
and he misses multiple field goals that could have ended the game in regulation. Then he misses in overtime, and they end up ultimately losing. And Jacksonville decides to part ways with him a little bit after, not immediately, but they part ways with him. He goes to the Jets for a spell in 2018-19, and then he's been with Seattle for the last 7 seasons. This man has been consistent. His first year in Jacksonville, 16 games. Second year, 16 games. In 2017-18, he only played 6 games. But then with the Jets, 16. Then Seattle, 16, 16, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. And as you know, there's 16 regular season games. Now there's 17 regular season games. And that happened a few years back. Outside of one season in his entire career in the NFL, he has played every single game. And when you look back on the regular season alone, his field goal percentage is 85.6%. He made 60 of 62 in his career from 20 to 29 yards, 99 of 107 from 30 to 39 yards, 87 of 103 from 40 to 49 yards, and 51 of the 75 from 50 plus. That is looking at his regular season. If you take a look at the postseason for Jason Myers has 4 postseasons, all with Seattle. He went 13 of 15 overall, 86.7%, including this season where he went 8 for 8 on field goals. 8 for 8 and 11 for 11 on extra points. Last night in the title game, he went 5 for 5 on field goal attempts, 2 for 2 on extra point attempts, and he set a new record in NFL history for the most field goals made ever in an NFL SB game. And I have to be clear about that. Since we can't say that SB word, there were NFL title games before the SB, but there's been 60 SBs. You know what I'm talking about here. There's been 60 title games that had the letters SB, and of those 60 title games, no kicker in the history of the NFL in 60 games has had 5 field goals made in a game. And he didn't just have 5 made, he was 5 of 5. So making NFL history, I think, warrants you NFL MVP. But as we know, by and large, special teams never gets the spotlight unless somebody's mad at them. But in this case, Jason Myers, with no disrespect to KW the third, this should have been Jason's.
I 100% agree. And the fact that you couldn't even vote for him was the problem.
Right. Rigged.
If he didn't win and you were able to vote for him the whole time, all right.
Yeah.
It's a realistically, it's a fan's vote. Most fans probably ain't voting for the kicker. But most NFL fans that watch this game could say, yeah, the kicker probably played a very big role in him winning this game.
Yeah.
He outscored the Patriots by himself.
Yeah.
He had 17 points on his own. Patriots had 13. Just think about that for a second. The kicker outscored Drake May and the New England Patriots.
Yep.
Now, let me get to Drake May for a second here. Folks, if you're stuck with Drake May cards right now, I'm not so sorry for you because I warned you. I warned you to sell them. I warned you not to buy them.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't sell it and you were trying, that's one thing. But if you didn't try to sell them and you decided to keep them, That's on you. I got rid of all of mine yesterday, thank God. Drake May looked like he was seeing ghosts out there. Pun intended.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold gets ridiculed for that comment that he made on the Monday Night Football game against the Patriots all those years ago when he was with the Jets about him seeing ghosts out there. Drake May was seeing ghosts. That was one of the single worst performances by a quarterback on the biggest stage that I have ever seen. I don't care that he had 2 touchdown passes. They were garbage time. Seattle was in prevent defense.
Yeah.
He was getting dinks and dunks all over the field because they were just playing prevent zone. Literally, they were not trying to blitz. They were not trying to do anything. They were sacking Drake May, rushing 3, rushing 4. Half those sacks weren't even on blitzes. Will Campbell got destroyed at left tackle.
Yeah.
So, and, you could say that, he didn't have time and, he couldn't, he didn't have time and then he couldn't get the ball out quick enough, whatever. He looked lost. He had his tight end wide open. I mean, you could have driven a truck between him and the next Seattle defender.
Yeah.
And he overthrew him by a wide margin. It wasn't even like he didn't even have a chance to catch the football. The interception that he threw, the pick six, I don't think anybody's going to necessarily get on him with calling that a real interception. It is an interception by definition.
It's an interception because...
It was basically a fumble.
Well,
because the ball never hit the ground.
Right, the ball didn't hit the ground, so it's considered an interception.
Exactly. By definition, it's an interception. It wasn't really a throw, but you get what I'm saying.
It's a sack fumble interception.
Yes, correct. But the interception that he threw, if you were listening to the broadcast and you heard Chris Collinsworth after that play, he literally sat there as they go to replay. He didn't say a word after it happened.
Yeah.
They go to replay, so he's expected to talk, and he goes, I got nothing. That was one of the worst throws I have ever seen.
Yeah, he said, I got nothing to say about this. He looked at it, it was like it was underthrown. It did not have speed on it.
It was thrown 15 yards left of where it was supposed to be.
But Drake May was throwing behind his receivers throughout the game. And listen, there's a couple things I want to say about Drake May. And I know that you being a Jets fan, you're very happy that the Patriots lost. But here's the thing. Drake May was he's one of the youngest guys to ever make it to the championship game. He's in his second year in the NFL. Mike Vrabel's in his first year as the head coach of the Patriots, second time being a head coach in the NFL after the Titans. Drake May, this is his second season. He's a young gun. He's a young cat. Okay. I was concerned when he came into the NFL that his timing was not the best, that it took a long time, that a receiver would run their route and you would see receivers on film in college kind of wait for the ball to get to them. And I said, you can't do that in the NFL. Then he came out last year. He did a pretty good job. And I said, I think he's going to have a better sophomore season. I said, I think he'll move in a positive direction, have a little uptick. And he did. And so that prediction was correct. But I think we saw in this game some of the things I was concerned about when he was coming into the NFL via the draft, which was about getting the ball there. And in this game, not only was it struggling to get it there, he was consistently throwing behind his receivers. I said to my dad in that interception that was thrown where the ball was well out of reach of the receiver, it was thrown short, it was thrown to the middle of the field, the receiver was to the right, it was way behind the receiver, and it was yards in front of the receiver. I said to my dad and to everybody in the room, I said, it honestly, the way that the ball came into the Seahawks defender, it looked like he was returning a punt. That's how I responded to it.
I would argue that's the worst throw I have ever seen on that big of a stage. And, I get He's the second youngest player, second youngest quarterback to ever start a championship game. The youngest being Dan Marino, who, by the way, I had no idea Dan Marino ever made it to a Super Bowl. Sorry. Damn it. I had no idea he ever got there. So that was news to me.
Yeah.
I knew he never won. I just didn't know he got there when he was young. But that throw was abysmal.
Yeah.
He played like a rookie. He played like a guy that has no business being a quarterback in the NFL. And do I think he can improve? Absolutely. He's 23 years old. He's still a young kid. Look at what Sam Darnold did. 5 teams. First player ever to win a championship after playing for 5 different teams as a starting quarterback. So, great on him. And I hope they can do it again. But, realistically, Drake May and the New England Patriots had no business being in this game. They won the games they had to. They had the easiest schedule in the NFL. They had the, by far, easiest road to the championship through the postseason.
Well, they said going into the season that they had arguably the NFL's easiest schedule of 32 franchises.
By strength of record, they had the easiest schedule in the NFL by far. And it was not close. And then they go into the postseason. They play the Chargers, where Justin Herbert looked horrible. The Texans, who are not a very good football team, and C.J. Stroud played the worst game of his career. The Broncos, without their starting quarterback, who, by the way, if Bo Nix plays that game, the Broncos probably win by 20. The Patriots were not a 14-3 football team. They were by their record. If they played the same schedule the Jets played, they might have won 8 games.
Yeah.
Maybe. The fact that Drake May was 1 vote away from winning the MVP in the regular season blows my mind after watching that football game. And I know it's one bad game, but I watched them all postseason long. 4 interceptions, 7 lost fumbles. He was horrible the whole postseason. Folks, the Drake May hype is over for now. Could it come back going in the next season? Sure. But the hype about Drake May being this all-world quarterback for the Patriots, that's over. That dream is buried 6 feet under. And quite frankly, I don't know that it's ever going to be dug up. I really don't. I hope he does because it'll be good for the NFL. It'd be fun to get to watch him twice a year, and maybe you beat him a couple of times. That'd be fun. But he didn't have to play Josh Allen. He didn't have to play Mahomes. He didn't have to play Burrow. He didn't have to play Lamar. Yes, he played them. He played Allen twice in the regular season and split.
Yeah.
He played a Lamar Jackson-less Ravens team. Did not play the Chiefs. And they went 1-1 against Josh Allen. That's fine. But had he played Josh Allen in the postseason, they would have gotten smoked. That team was a bomb waiting to go off because there was never a scenario where I thought they could beat the Seahawks team. Not in a million years. That team over there in New England was abysmal. That looked like the 4-13 team that they were a year ago in the Super Bowl, in the championship game. You could say I'm biased by being a Jets fan. Obviously, I'm sitting here in my Sam Darnold Jets jersey. Yeah. By the way, my Sam Darnold jersey with the logo and the America 250 patch is on its way.
Yeah.
I ordered one.
Awesome.
That'll be my fourth Sam Darnold jersey, by the way. But regardless, call me a hater for being a Jets fan. Anybody with a brain that watched that football game knows that the Patriots had no business being there. They had no business being there. Think about what it was like in the college football playoff a couple of years ago when Georgia blew out, was it Washington?
A few years ago?
Who was it? Who was the team they absolutely blew out in the championship game?
TCU.
All right, TCU. They blow out TCU. That TCU had no business being on the same field as Georgia that day. The Patriots had zero business being on the field with the Seahawks that day, yesterday. It was, and it wasn't. It was not a boring game. For all of you that think that game was the worst Super Bowl of all time, you didn't watch Patriots Rams. That was by far the worst game of all time. The worst championship game of all time.
I walked away.
By far.
I walked away from the TV at times. What is happening to this game? I mean, there was so much talent.
Was horrible.
I was like, as a broadcaster and a writer and someone who's been in this sports media world for over, whatever it was at that time, almost 20 years at that time, I was like, I have no desire to sit here and watch this debacle. But, the Seahawks, listen, the Seahawks had a fantastic season, and they were considered that. The funny thing about this game is they were the road team, and in this title game, which was wild to me because they led the best division in football, which was the NFC West. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Patriots were the number 2 seed in the AFC. And listen, obviously Seattle showed that they were the better team, and most of us thought that going into it. The entire team here at Wake Up Call, for those of you that may not have seen the video, Isaac Elford of Wake Up Call here, he chose the Seahawks over the Patriots 24-20. Papa Joe, Seahawks 24-13. Jason Lucas, Seahawks 27-23. Dave Paziak, Seahawks 28-17. Murph, Seahawks 31-17. And mine, Seahawks 30-17. Not a single one of us here on Wake Up Call picked the Patriots, and 4 out of 6 of us picked them to score less than 20 points, and then the 2 that had more than the teens had 20 or 23. So we did not see that being a game that we were going to watch the Patriots get 2 or really high above 20. And they didn't, and they almost got shut out. I jokingly said during the game, and I said it in the intro here today on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. What'd you say?
They should have gotten shut out.
Well, and I said going into, last night when it was a 0 score, I said, based on all the hatred and negativity that people give James Madison and the Tulanes of the world, I said, if they don't score points, can they, like people say about the CFP, are the Patriots going to be allowed to be eligible for the NFL playoffs next year?
They shouldn't be.
So, here's the thing, and there's a few things I want to get to. And I mentioned some stuff about Drake May, and this is his second year, and what he's been doing and whatnot. So, nerves can play a part in this, right? The only other time he's been to an NFL title game, he was a kid. He went with his dad, got VIP tickets. Shout out to Pops for that. And it was in the same stadium. And he was a Carolina Panthers fan growing up, wearing a Cam Newton jersey. And now, as they said on the broadcast last night, here he is going to an NFL title game wearing a Panthers jersey. And now people are going 10 years later to an NFL title game wearing his jersey, which is an amazing story for Drake May. Drake is a young guy. Drake's going to make mistakes. I understand that people are saying, hey, you're in the NFL, whatever, you do this, you do that. You're up for, trying to win the MVP, and, people think this and this or whatever of you. I don't want to rip on Drake May in the sense of there's a few things I want to talk about with this game. Yes, he threw behind his receivers. Yes, they turned the ball over. Yes, there was a sack fumble. Yes, there were 2 interceptions. He did not hold on to the ball. He threw a terrible interception The other one that's considered an interception that happened later in the game that turned into the touchdown, that was one where he gets hit, the ball goes up in the air, and because it doesn't drop, it's an interception and not a fumble. And so that's where I thought they had 7 sacks, but they consider that an interception. They took that away, so because in my opinion, the Seahawks had 7 sacks in the game, plus 3 takeaways. So that's why it was referenced as that on my X. I was able to adjust it on Facebook and Instagram, but X still says that I had 7 sacks on the game. If you're wondering why I put 7, go back to that play, because that was an interesting and unique play. But, okay, he made mistakes. God willing, the health of his body and longevity, that man is going to have another decade in the NFL, at least. So could he be back? Maybe. Does he have to get better? Yes. Would they have gotten there if the Broncos were full tilt? Probably not, in my opinion, or in Murph's opinion. But I don't want to take anything away from Drake May, and I don't want to rip on the kid and rip him to shreds. This is his second year in the NFL. This stuff takes time. There can be jitters. There can be a lot of things that go into it. Did he have a good game? No, he didn't. Rex Grossman, long into his career, had a terrible game when he went up against the Colts and Peyton Manning won his first title. So it happens. On the other side of it, did Sam Darnold have a great game? No. I think at one time he was 9 of 22. He didn't have a great game either. Okay, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was off the field for a bit when he was on the field before he went into concussion protocol and thankfully came back out. Before he went into concussion protocol, he didn't have a great game.
He was shut down by Christian Gonzalez.
Right. Christian Gonzalez, and I want to give people flowers because we talk about what stuck out to us and we want to talk about the players of the game, and let's do that before we take a break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I'm going to tell you that my defensive player of the game, without doubt, for the New England Patriots is Christian Gonzalez. If you can look at a game and you can put out the MVP award and you could have given it to the losing team, it would have gone to Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
He
was the best player on the field.
Yeah. That young corner in the NFL prevented at least 2 touchdowns in the game. He was the one that got the hand in here and the hand in there. He's the one that jumped at the right time, had good hand-eye coordination, didn't pass interfere, knew what he needed to do as a DB, knew where the ball was, knew where the receiver was, knew where he had to be, and didn't do anything nefarious to try and cheat his way to getting to a place. That man made the best defensive plays on the field for the Patriots and some of the best defensive plays the entire game. Yes, the Seahawks got 2 interceptions. Yes, the Seahawks got 6 sacks. Yes, one of those sacks forced a fumble. Yes, they fell on it. Christian Gonzalez prevented this game from being in a place where the Seahawks would have gotten where I thought they were going to get to, which is 30 points. If not for Christian Gonzalez, this game is a blowout. It is not even close, and it might have been done in the first half. So I want to give flowers to Christian Gonzalez because you, my friend, had an absolutely fantastic game. And I hope that the NFL, the Patriots, or whoever treats you with longevity and money in the contract and protections in the contract. You are one of the best defensive players in the entire country. And we talk about being on a big stage and having nerves. If you had them, nobody saw them. Gonzalez, in my heart, if I got Jason Myers on one side, and we'll talk about Kenneth Walker III in a second, Christian Gonzalez, and I think there's been at times where you can, a player on the losing team is the best player on the field and you can vote MVP. I'm telling you that Christian Gonzalez, without doubt, from the beginning of this game, has every argument to be in the running as MVP despite being on the losing team. And I hope that no one forgets what Zero did in this game.
He was the best player on the field, bar none. It was not close. The play he made, Sam Darnold made a phenomenal throw. He was looking for Rashid Shaheed on a deep ball. Christian Gonzalez saw it and got there and timed his leap perfectly to break it up. That was a perfect throw by Sam Darnold, but a better play by Christian Gonzalez. He knocked balls out of Shaheed's hands. He knocked balls out of JSN's hands. He knocked balls out of Cooper Kupp's hands. It didn't matter. He did it all night long.
Yeah.
That dude looked like prime Darrelle Revis out there, like prime Deion Sanders, like Champ Bailey, like any of these other guys who are Hall of Fame caliber corners that went and played in the NFL, that won championships.
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman.
Former Seahawk.
Not a Hall of Famer yet, but he's the best corner in the NFL right now. Pat Surtain. Those guys are the best of the best at that position. Christian Gonzalez looked like the best of the best at that position. He is going to be in the NFL for a long time, and he is going to get a lot of money, whether it's from New England or from somebody else. And whoever gets him, guys, you're getting a Darrelle Revis level player. I'm not even sugarcoating that one. He was by far the best player on the field. And don't get me wrong, Sam Darnold made some good throws that were broken up. He also made some not so good throws that were broken up. There's a reason why Kenneth Walker won the MVP and not Sam Darnold or somebody else. I mean, we're both sitting here thinking it should have been the kicker, Jason Myers, and, I think I'm going to think that forever.
Yeah.
But he played an unbelievable game. He was the best player on the field. And he himself should hang his head high because he did everything he could to help his team win a championship. And their offense let him down. You're 100% right that game could have been 40-0. It could have been 35-0 by halftime had he not made some of those plays. It was 9-0, folks. There was a couple one of their punts was on that heave to Shaheed on that drive. They catch that ball. Actually, Shaheed was walking in for a touchdown. And that would have made it would have been 28-0 at halftime. 28, you can say 28-3 all you want. In the back of my head, I was still thinking that. Because it's the Patriots and they do these things.
Yeah.
But looking at that, watching that football game and seeing the way Seattle played and the way New England was playing, I sat there at halftime with Seattle up 9-0 thinking to myself, yeah, Sam Darnold's about to win a championship.
Yeah.
See, I caught myself that time.
Yeah.
We're getting better.
That's why, last night I was like...
It's so hard, man.
If I say SB60, what am I...
That's true.
I'm saying letters. So...
I know. It's so
technically,
hard.
and just so people know, because a lot of people, like the average fan, doesn't understand this because you guys say it. The notion is, the belief is that for many, many years of me being a broadcaster here, that you cannot say the word super and the word bull together in sports term unless you have the ownership rights of it, which is weird because we can say college football playoff, but the title game in the NFL, you're not supposed to say it. And I remember being a broadcaster early on in my career, and you have to say the big game or the title game or the NFL championship, or you could talk about the teams that are in the game, but you can't say those words together. So if you're wondering why we're dancing around calling it, or you look at your screen and you say, why does it say NFL title game and it doesn't say the word super or the word bowl? It's because in broadcasting, unless you're like connected to doing that broadcast of the actual game itself, you can't say it. So Chris Collinsworth can say it, Mike Tirico could say it. We cannot say it. We're not supposed to say it.
Yeah, and I think that's why also you have like the networks that do, like realistically, I think networks that have like highlights and whatnot, I think some of them get permission and they can say it. Obviously, in our case, I've obviously dropped it 3 times and I feel bad about it, but It's just, if you're talking about it, it just comes out and you're like, well, there's that. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where I completely lost where I was going with that originally. But looking at, overall the game, the Patriots, the Seahawks, I was excited for the game. I was at a card show earlier in the day, and everybody was asking who's gonna win, who's gonna win, and I'm like, bet the house on Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what anybody says. New England is not winning. It was not gonna matter. Oh, now I remember. Christian Gonzalez makes all those plays, and they're down 28-0 at halftime. The game was over.
Yeah.
It was only 9-0. So theoretically, the game was not over. I mean, the game's not over yet anyway if it's 28-0 either, but 28-3, neither here nor there. Overall, it was a great game. I know people, like, I already got texts from people that thought the game was terrible. And, if you think the game was terrible, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with you and say, you're wrong, the game wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But in my personal opinion, watching that football game, I like good, if you have it's like watching a pitcher's duel, right? I love a good pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
Right? You get Paul Skeens and Garrett Cole pitches for the Yankees and the Pirates. Eighth inning, Pirates are up 1-0. Skeens is tossing the shutout. Cole's giving up one run. Like, that's a phenomenal baseball game.
Yeah.
Is a defensive battle the same thing? Not exactly. But it sort of is. To me, it's not as fun as a pitcher's duel, but I think that can be just as exciting as, a high-scoring game. High-scoring game is going to be more exciting, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lower-scoring game, now it also depends on how the scoring is happening.
Right.
This is why the Rams-Patriots game all those years ago was so bad.
Well,
because you had a touchdown and 4 field goals. And that was it. I'm sorry. 3 field goals. And multiple turnovers. Like, it wasn't a defensive battle. That was just 2 offenses that just did not play well.
right.
This was a pure defensive game.
Well, you put it like this.
Patriots defense played very well.
Right.
They did not lose this football game.
Well, you put it like this.
The offense did.
I was at the Capital One Orange Bowl in this season's college football playoff that just wrapped up. And Oregon and Texas Tech were 2 offenses that couldn't move the ball. That game was vastly different than the Patriots and the Seahawks. Because there was almost no offense in the Oregon-Texas Tech game. Texas Tech didn't score. And Oregon was like, we're going to go for it on 4th and 12, 4th and 13, 4th and 1, 4th and 4, because we know their offense can't score. So we know if we turn the ball over on downs, doesn't mean anything. We're going to get it right back. So that was a game where you struggle to see offense at certain places, but we're not talking about like consistently getting there. It was like Oregon played a bad game, Texas Tech played a worse game. In this game, the Seahawks didn't play a bad game, and there were Patriots that didn't play a bad game, and it was far better. Having watched both of these games this season, I could tell you Oregon and Texas Tech was just like, it was like, please somebody do something, where in the Seahawks game, they were doing stuff. Just people don't always like special teams, and they don't always regard special teams with the respect that it deserves.
Let's give the punter some credit too for Seattle.
And
I mean, how many times did he get it down inside the 5?
Right. And I do want to put this out, and I just posted this, and so you can all check it out. It's going to be added to our Facebook actually momentarily. I'm doing it while I'm saying it to you. But Christian Gonzalez, I wanted to officially put something out there for you. He's tagged in it. So I don't know the man personally. I'd love to someday. but I put with all due respect, and it's not even close. The MVP of SB60 on the New England Patriots was their cornerback, Christian Gonzalez, who made arguably the best individual defensive plays of anyone on the field in SB60, stopping multiple potential touchdowns. He knew where the ball was, where the receiver was, and legally defended. Gonzalez played an MVP caliber game, and it should never be forgotten. So those are my words to you, Christian. We both believe that you had an MVP game that should not be thrown into the black hole of the abyss because you didn't have the victory on your side. Christian Gonzalez, you played a heck of a game, an incredible game. You stood out, and that game alone that you played in SB60 will now have me watching you throughout for the rest of your career. I want to see how consistently you do this. I want to see what you bring to the table. The way that you played in this game, in this NFL title game, has got me not only saying respect to you, but it's now saying, okay, now you've got my attention. You've kept my attention. You will have my attention, and I respect the heck out of you. Christian Gonzalez, one of the best draft picks that the New England Patriots could have made. So with everybody waking up this morning, and a lot of people, hopefully everybody waking up this morning and having a great morning, a lot of people talking about Drake May. A lot of people talking about, can he get back? A lot of people talking about, is he good? A lot of people talking about, is it smoke and mirrors? A lot of people talking about, is it just his youth? I think you should wake up this morning and the first thing out of your mouth with the New England Patriots should be, wow, they made one hell of a grab when they brought in Christian Gonzalez. And that man's number suits him because he did not go out there allowing touchdowns. He did not go out there allowing points. So 0 makes sense for Christian Gonzalez. Let's take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're going to take a look at the rest of the Patriots offensively and special teams. Is there anybody that stood out to us to be honored after the game? Then we'll shift to Seattle. We already told you that we believe that Jason Myers, with no disrespect to Kenneth Walker III, should have been the MVP of SB60. But let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about the defense. Who are our players of the game? Why was my mom having such an emphatic reaction after the game? We'll talk about all of that in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. We want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. You can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place, and I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We are here on the morning after the big game, that game, SB60. We can't say it, but I can say Oopersole. So, you know what it is, and we are here, Murph and I, starting off the week with you as we always do on Wake Up Call on Mondays with DT and Murphy. There's a lot of things to get into, a lot of different topics to discuss, but before the break, I told you we are going to address who we consider to be our offense, defense, and special teams players of note here. And I don't want to say MVP because we already talked about who we think should be the MVP of this game, which is Jason Myers. And on the defensive side, we agreed Christian Gonzalez on the losing team, I should say, the Patriots overall, Christian Gonzalez. So let's go catalyst or guy that stuck out. Offense, defense, special teams. We'll start with the losing team with the Patriots. Who, Murph, for you? We already know that on the defense it's Christian Gonzalez, but offensively and special teams, did anybody stick out to you in this game of note for the Patriots?
Defensively, we already talked about it. It's Christian Gonzalez. There's not much that really needs to be said there.
Right.
Offensively, not really. I mean, maybe Mac Hollins, but I mean, they couldn't run the ball. I mean, Drake May had almost as many rushing yards as the 2 running backs combined. Mm-hmm. They threw the ball 43 times.
Yeah.
They rushed the ball
13
with their running backs and 5 times with Drake May.
Yep.
That is not good. Drake May's stat line does not tell you how he played. The 2 interceptions, yes, it does. But 295 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns, that doesn't tell you how he played, man. To me, Drake May was the worst player on the field. Actually, that's not true. Will Campbell was the worst player on the field last night. I don't know how many sacks he gave up. It was at least 3. He got bullied by that side of the Seahawks defensive line. He had literally no chance. He had a false start where he was starting to fall back. They snapped the ball, and he basically got pushed into Drake May's feet. Like nothing. So, I mean, I guess the best thing about the Patriots, other than Christian Gonzalez, maybe is their punter. I mean, he downed 4 balls inside the 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Patriots-wise, to me, that's it. I mean, there wasn't really anyone on offense that stood out. I mean, the whole offense looked abysmal.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to give it to somebody, I guess Mac Hollins. But Will Campbell needs to be talked about as and I don't want to rip on the guy. He's still just a rookie, but he that was probably the worst game he's ever played.
Let me hit you with my Patriots here, as you heard from Murph. My offensive player of note for the Patriots, I'm not gonna say the same as you because you said Mac Hollins, so I won't say Mac Hollins. But, obviously that would be the one I'd look to. The funny thing about Mac Hollins, the cool thing about Mac Hollins and Drake May is when they connected for a touchdown in SB60 in this NFL title game, that's 2 former North Carolina players connecting as teammates with the Patriots. So that's some North Carolina love, some UNC love. Here's something that shows you how tiny the world is of sports. Follow me on It's a Small World. We're going to go on the ride this morning. We don't have to go to Disney for this. Bill Belichick was the Patriots head coach. He is now North Carolina's head coach. Drake May and Mac Hollins were there before Bill Belichick when it came to North Carolina. Then they go from North Carolina to the Patriots. After Bill left, they become teammates, and they score representing North Carolina, where the former head coach of the Patriots currently is. That's how crazy the sports world is. So shout out to Mac Hollins, but I'm going to pick somebody different because I don't want to pick the same person. I would say...
I don't think anybody would blame you if you pick the same person. He's the only one of note.
And I mean, honestly, Travion Henderson didn't have a good game. Ramondre Stevenson didn't really have a good game. Stephon Diggs was busy being Stephon Diggs. Constant drama going on. So I don't know what's going to go on.
Didn't he punch somebody?
And
they didn't throw a flag. Or wait, he got punched, right?
Well, no. So he got hit. He immediately grabbed the face mask of the guy that hit him, pulled the guy. Then there was another hit. Then the refs got involved. And in one of the weirdest exchanges in NFL history, no one got a personal foul.
There wasn't even a flag.
It would have been offsetting penalties, but to at least note, and amidst all of this stuff going on, there was a streaker that they didn't show in the game.
That was the best play the Patriots made all night, was tackling the streaker.
Yeah, and I believe Kyle Williams was the one that got after the streaker, but
I think so, yeah.
So shout out to Kyle and shout out to him catching up with him, but then as you can see, he refuses to touch him. It's like he got to him, but he's like, I'm not touching this bare-chested man. So shout out to you, Kyle.
Nothing will ever be better than Kevin Harlan calling it when there was no streak. Wait a minute. I need to hear Kevin Harlan's call of the streaker from last night because he did the radio broadcast for Westwood One. I need to find that.
Well, and Mike Tirico was not having it.
No, he was not.
He was like, he basically, talking about the idiocy of this moment, but they don't show him on TV. I was at a Syracuse game where a guy got down to the field, ran across the entire field. It was probably the slowest moving individual to ever get on the field, but no one in security stopped him, which made me feel ever so safe in the dome. But that was not shown on television either. So that's when I realized they don't really show this stuff. And obviously last night they didn't show it. I hope security gets better and that we figure things out, especially a guy that took about 14 minutes to run across the field in Syracuse, New York. But I will say that Matt Collins is the easy choice. I can't really find anybody else, so I'm going to stay with Matt Collins because I said I was going to look to someone, but I can't really pick anybody else on this team. And then special teams-wise, I'm going to give it to Dearness Johnson. 4 kick returns, 103 yards, average almost 26 yards per return. And Dearness Johnson, Cleveland Brown, Jacksonville Jaguar, Arizona Cardinal before he became a New England Patriot. Shout out to him making a roster. He was third string for the Jaguars. I'm happy to see him doing his thing here. So I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. I'm also going to mention another former Jaguar, K'Lavon Chaisson, who had himself a game defensively besides looking at the plays of Christian Gonzalez. K'Lavon Chaisson had himself a good game for the Patriots, and he was trying to do all that he could to stop things. He stopped the run and did some good. He had some good plays against the run to stop the run and halt the run. Obviously, Kenneth Walker III eventually broke out and did what he wanted to do, which I was anticipating he would, but Chaisson made it not be as bad as it could have been. So I do want to talk about my former Jaguars here and honor those Patriots. So I would say Matt Collins, Christian Gonzalez, and Dearness Johnson. And Murph said pretty much the same thing outside of going to the punter of the New England Patriots, Bryce Behringer for the punting of the Patriots. 8 punts in the game, 356 yards, and put 4 inside of the 20, so half of them. His longest was 55 yards. And if you took his numbers, just like if you took Jack Stonehouse from Syracuse this year, you wish that the punter could be given passing yards for his foot, because this New England punter was the best offensive player that didn't play on offense, and Jack Stonehouse was the best offensive player for Syracuse by and large this season as their punter. Let's go to the Seattle Seahawks. We've mentioned that Jason Myers on special teams is our guy of note and our MVP pick. Let's go offense and defense, Murph. Who are the offensive and defensive catalysts for the Seahawks that you would like to honor specifically in the morning after?
I think I want to give credit to the Seahawks offensive line. Now, granted, Sam Darnold made some plays to escape pressure that were seriously impressive. So I give him a lot of credit for that. He could have been sacked 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. The left side of the line did a good job. The middle of the line was but the left side of the line did a really good job of keeping him protected, and he was able to step up in the pocket a lot and, avoid a lot of these hits. So, I don't think Sam Darnold's going to get enough credit for that. Also, by the way, folks, I might have lost a parlay by 8 passing yards for the Seahawks. So, it's a little bit of a sour subject for me. But it's hard to not say Kenneth Walker kind of put the team on his back. Chris Collinsworth multiple times was talking about how patient Kenneth Walker was being. Mm-hmm. And just watching him run, they shouted out Le'Veon Bell at one point because of how long Kenneth Walker waited for a hole to open up. It's like he took the handoff. He said, bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh, hole's open, go.
Yeah.
And I think he picked up like 20 yards on the run.
And that can only happen because the offensive line held everyone back in order for that hole to open. Because they say, the offensive line created the hole, but the offensive line also created the time.
Correct.
My note of probably the longest I've seen a running back in the backfield in many years waiting for something to open up. When I saw Kenneth Walker do it in this game, and he waited a beat, and then, okay, now I'm going to go, that reminded me of Barry Sanders.
I kind of thought it reminded me a little bit of Le'Veon Bell. I'm, obviously, a little bit younger than you are. So for me, it kind of That's kind of where I see it. But,
It's not
defensively,
called
you got
younger, Murph. I'm more seasoned.
well, I mean, defensively though, you had two guys with multiple sacks. I mean, you had Byron Murphy and Derek Hall each with two sacks. Ernest Jones had 11 tackles.
Devin Witherspoon, the
You had 3 QB hits, including a sack and a TFL.
Riley Mills.
Yep. Michael Dixon, the punter, like we said, isn't getting enough credit either.
Yeah.
I think he put at least 2 balls inside the 5. I mean, he had the one at the end of the game. Seattle punts after running the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
Not only there wasn't a guy back there, they didn't have, guys that were rushing down the field to try to keep the punt from going into the end zone. The ball went out of bounds at the 4. I'm watching this. I'm like, what a freaking punt by this dude. I mean, I believe he's an Australian rugby player is where he came from. So, that was a hell of a performance for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both special teams kickers should get a lot of credit for the Seattle Seahawks in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys to honor on Seattle. This was total team effort. And offensively, I have to pick Kenneth Walker III, a guy whose name crossed my path a while back when he was a Wake Forest Demon Deacon for a couple of years before going to Michigan State and becoming a Spartan and then going into the NFL. Kenneth Walker III, 27 carries, 135 yards, 5 yards a carry, halfway to a first down on average. The man has just been fun to watch. I was a big fan of him coming into the NFL. I believed in him his entire time out. I talked about him coming in, and he impresses me in a way that I just marvel at watching him. Like I said, I'm going to pay closer attention to Christian Gonzalez. I might buy a Kenneth Walker III jersey just because the intelligence of which he went. And I was talking about it last night, and Isaac and I do a lot of stuff together, especially when it comes to football. And I said to Isaac, I said, how many running backs take the ball, know the play, and just carry out the play? They take the ball, they run, and they're supposed to go forward, they go forward. They see that there's nothing, they go forward. They see that the left doesn't work, they go left. They see the right doesn't work, they go right. Why? Because that's the play. Kenneth Walker is one of the only running backs that I watch in now that takes the ball. I'm supposed to go left. I'm going this way. He turned multiple no gains and loss of yardage into positive yardage. Kenneth Walker, and by the way, I said, if I'm Kenneth Walker and McDonald is screaming at me from the sidelines when he broke out open, if they didn't call that back for a penalty, when he broke out and he's going, I'm thinking like he wants to score. I feel like he wants to. I mean, you're in the title game. This is something you dream about as a kid. Thousands upon thousands of people dream about this. People that never played football dream about this. And here he goes, and I'm like, is he going to fall, like kind of just mess with everybody and fall inside the 4? Or is he really going to go in? And if I was Kenneth Walker and there was no penalty on Seattle, and Mike McDonald was screaming at me, go down, go down, go down, like let's run the clock out, I would have scored that touchdown because I'm in the title game. I would have scored that touchdown, gotten closer to 200 yards, and then in the post-game press conference when a media member said, why didn't you go down? I would have said, what do you mean? And they would have said, well, McDonald was screaming. You could see it on film. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, I couldn't hear my coach. If I heard him, I would have went down. And then I would have smirked and gone on with my life. Kenneth Walker III is a fantastic running back. And with Zach Charbonnet being out, they're touting him. And listen, I like the 1-2 punch, and I respect it. But Kenneth Walker III was the guy that consistently, if you look at it, has gotten more carries over these last couple of years. Charbonnet was the guy that would disappear in fantasy. And I like them both being together, and I'm sad that Charbonnet wasn't in there. But they almost were like overshadowing Walker in the commentary that, oh, Charbonnet this and Charbonnet that. And I like them both, and I respect them both, and I want the best for them both, and I want them both to eat. And I want Charbonnet to get to a title game where he gets to play, even though he'll get a ring in this because he's a part of it. and he should. But Kenneth Walker III, this is a guy who wowed me in this game, but he's wowed me before, and he's just good. When he's not healthy, Seattle's not the same. So he is by far, I'm okay with him being MVP. I'm okay with him having his flowers. Him and Jason Myers should have both had it and shared it. But
co-MVP would have been good, yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker III, you're absolutely my offensive catalyst. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm giving it to the D-line. I have to give it to the whole D-line. As I've said on this show repeatedly, but repeat is due, George O'Leary, former UCF head coach and former Syracuse assistant coach, told me sitting down in Rhode Island, in Newport, at Goat Island, we pulled up 2 chairs, we were knee to knee, and I'm recording my interview with him at the American Kickoff years ago. And he said, Dan, you build from the trenches. You build a championship team in the trenches. If you don't build offensive and defensive line, you don't build from the inside out, you're not doing it right, and you should probably do something else other than coaching. I got to give it to the whole D-line because they had 6 sacks in this game. They forced that second interception by their hit. They forced the fumble by their hit. They harassed the heck out of Drake May the entire game. From first possession to the end, Drake May, granted, held on to the ball too long and didn't get it out, but this defense made that pocket small and gave him nowhere to go. I cannot simply say Devin Weatherspoon or Derek Hall or Byron Murphy II or Riley Mills. I cannot simply say one guy that's going to stick out to me that I'm going to say. I mean, I look at this entire, I look at the whole defense in and of itself. You know, Julian,
I checked Allstate first and
Julian
saved
Love had himself a great game. You know, Notre Dame guy. Riley Mills, another Notre Dame guy. See, Notre Dame, I do show you love, so stop being weird. But Seattle, by the way, Notre Dame should not have made the NFL title game, just in case people know. But Seattle...
that would have been 100-0,
right,
by the way.
Yeah. But this Seahawks defensive line, this Seahawks presence was so incredible. And I know that, you know, I mentioned corner Witherspoon, but I'm giving it to the defensive line. I want to mention Witherspoon because he was just fantastic. The way, I mean, I might just say the entire defense because I'm sitting here saying the entire D-line and you build in the trenches, but then I'm thinking about
nobody would argue with you.
Right. I'm thinking about Witherspoon's sack. And there's something about a defensive line getting to the quarterback and bullying their way through. And the first sack, just pushing people out of the way. But the second sack of the game for Seattle, number 21, Devin Witherspoon, cornerback of this Seattle Seahawks team, he's out in the field. And I'm thinking to myself, was this his play that he was told to run, or did he just see something? Because they hike the ball, he comes down, changes his direction, looks, goes through, finds his seam, like Kenneth Walker III, but on the defensive side. The way that Witherspoon got to Drake May was amazing. It was like, as soon as they hiked the ball, he went full. It was like, you kind of see with like DBs, is they'll get ready if they're going to go after the quarterback. They'll start to be like moving, and then he takes off immediately. He goes where he feels like he needs to go. He gets through the line, and he gets to the quarterback. I mean, this entire Seattle defense, I know the first iteration was called the Legion of Boom, and with Avengers Doomsday coming out and RDJ being a certain character, I'm going to call this iteration the Legion of Doom. And this Legion of Doom had themselves a day. I got to give it up to the whole defense. I got to show love. Jason Myers, you know, is my special teams guy. Kenneth Walker's my offense. But I want to hit you with something right now. Because I thought to myself, I was like, hey, it's the morning after the title game. And when you're a fan, you're a fan. I said, I'm rocking my Jaguars jersey. This is 00. It literally says Jaguars on the back. Because I learned my lesson. All the Jaguars jerseys I bought, those guys got traded. But I'm wearing my Jaguar team jersey.
I have 2 Jets jerseys in the closet of guys that are still on the team.
Yeah. So
2.
I'm wearing.
Actually, technically 3. Justin Fields technically still counts.
That's true.
Even though he's going to be gone after this year.
So I'm wearing my Jaguars team jersey, and I thought to myself last night, I said, "What do you want to wear?" And I took this jersey and I folded it and I put it by the bed, and I was like, "This is the one you're bringing to the studio," because in my head I said, "You support your team no matter what," and I have a really good feeling that Murph is also going to be in a Jets jersey, and we didn't talk about it.
Nope.
And he's not just in a Jets jersey, but he's in a Sam Darnold jersey. I want to read you what I posted last night, and then I'll let you have your say about this because you, more than most, should have a say about it being a Jets fan. This is what I had to say about the man that they call Sam Darnold. The 3rd overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft was left out to pasture, forgotten, laughed at, ridiculed. Looked at by some as not someone to be an NFL starter. After the Jets, he bounced around the league from the Panthers to the 49ers to the Vikings before heading to the Seahawks ahead of the 2025-26 season. And in his first go-around with Seattle, he's an NFL champion. May Sam Darnold be a reminder to you that no one's opinion of you matters. I'm going to say that again because it's in caps in this post. No one's opinion. No one. No, not that person. No, not that person. Well, what about? No. No one who has an opinion of you matters. Only your opinion of yourself matters. I'm not saying don't care about other people. I'm saying when it comes to you, whoever's got an opinion, most of the time, nobody asked them for it. That's the crazy thing about opinions. They're offered when nobody asked for one. I didn't order this. Take it back. And if they do or they don't, it doesn't matter. Only your opinion of yourself matters. Stay true to yourself and go be a champion of your own life today. God bless. Sam Darnold was a quarterback that was not good enough, a bust. A top 3 pick. The Jets swung and missed again. What a terrible guy. What a quarterback. What a waste of a pick. What the Jets could have been if they drafted this guy or they drafted that guy. Why were they so stupid? How could the scouts do this? Why didn't they see it? Why didn't they know this guy wasn't a good fit? He's not an NFL quarterback. He's going to leave the Jets. He's going to disappear. He's going to fall to be a 2nd or 3rd string. We may never see Sam Darnold again. And what did Sam say repeatedly? My parents' belief in me, that helped me. My parents, a grown-ass man, sitting there with the media and the world looking at him, and he said, you know what? Mom and Dad had my back, and I had my own back. Everybody else, I don't care. And when they went into the locker room of the Seattle Seahawks, his teammates were saying, put some respect on that man's name. His teammates. You want to know what Sam Darnold is? He's not just a quarterback. He's not just a guy that can complete passes. He's not just a guy that can go out there and make good decisions with his eyes and his body, his hand, his arm. He's a guy who has the respect of his teammates. How do I know? They won an NFL championship, and they were talking about him. They were taking time in a celebration to grab a newspaper clipping and say, that's my boy, Sam Darnold. When I was growing up and I wanted some orange juice with a little twist to it, I drank Sunny D. The media this morning has to get themselves a healthy dose of Sammy D, because most people said to hell with that guy. Most people said he don't matter. Most people followed the bouncing ball. Whatever was the narrative that was trending on social media, whatever the 4-letter and 3-letter networks were saying. Most people are sheep. They are not shepherds. But Sam Darnold, you're a shepherd, and you led those sheep to a championship. I don't care how it looked. I don't care what people think. Bro, you bet on you. You believed in you. You took the world's opinion, you threw it in the pail, and you said, I'm going to go out here and be who I know I can be. And may Sam Darnold be an example forever in time that it never truly matters what other people think or say or do. Go out there and be who you know you are. Go out there and go beyond your wildest dreams, and positive, negative, or in between that you get from others, whether it's good or bad, it's just words. It's just their thoughts and opinions. Be who you know you are. Whether that's better or worse than what people think, go do you. Sam Darnold showed humanity, this world, creation, God himself, that when one person believes in themselves, that is the only one that you need. God's got your back. You had your back. And Sam Darnold, you can sit here this morning, in the morning after, with a smile on your face saying, when I looked at that man in the mirror, I thought something of him. Anybody else? They don't have to spend time in this body with this mind, this heart, and this soul. Sam Darnold, you are a true testament that all you have to be is yourself. All you have to do is believe, put that work in, and know that no matter what, whether you get the flowers or not, whether you get the apology letters or not, whether you get the fame or not, is inconsequential to the fact that God gave you value. And if you know that value, you can achieve anything. God bless you. God bless your family. Congratulations to you. Sam Darnold, I will forever remember you on a rainy day and on a sunny day. That when the world says, Dan, you suck, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to go be like Sam Darnold, and I'm going to go live my dang life. Congratulations, Sam. I cannot be more happier for you.
You hit the nail on the head there, man. And it really brings me back to my thoughts from prior to the 2021 draft. Sam Darnold was sitting there after a third, after another lost season with the Jets. And the Jets were sitting there with the number 2 overall pick. I said, and we talked about this, I don't know how many times, and I talked to different people about this, I don't know how many times. All my buddies from college know this is what I was preaching. The only quarterback in that draft I was willing to move off of Sam Darnold for was Trevor Lawrence. Zach Wilson was never the answer. The Jets did not give him a chance.
Yeah.
Trust me, if Sam Darnold had the offense that Zach Wilson had, the Jets would have made the playoffs at least once, if not more. Zach Wilson was a massive mistake for that team. If there is one thing that Todd Bowles and Mike McCagnon got right, it was Sam Darnold. Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh screwed that up. Sam Darnold should have never been traded. They should have traded down from number 2. Don't know where they would have ended up. At the time, it seemed like Atlanta was the one that wanted to move up. Let them come take Zach Wilson. They could have taken Pitts. They could have taken Chase. They could have taken Waddle. You name it, they could have had him. Let's say you put Jamar Chase on that team with Sam Darnold. Do you end up with Garrett Wilson? Probably not. But that's okay. They probably still would have done something else to get a number 2 receiver at some point. If you gave Sam Darnold Jamar Chase in that season, am I going to sit here and say that the Jets in 2021 or 2022 would have been successful? Probably not. Would they have gotten better? Absolutely. Absolutely. The following year, let's just say they keep Sam Darnold. The following year, then you go and you have 2 first-round picks. Heck, you had 2 first-round picks in 2021. You took Elijah Vera Tucker with the second one. You might have even picked up a third in that one or the next draft. Let's just say they got an extra first-round pick in the following year's draft, right? So they keep Elijah. They still take Elijah Vera Tucker, but they also take Jamar Chase. 2022 draft, you have 3 first-round picks. You're probably not picking 4th, so you're probably not getting Sauce Gardner. They could still take Garrett Wilson, conceivably, possibly. Probably not, but possibly. Then they are picking in the teens. There's some good tight ends available. There's some good offensive linemen available. You still could take Jermaine Johnson. They probably don't trade back up into the first round, but they probably still take Breece Hall. The team would be coming together. 2023. They took Will McDonald over JSN. I think they would have rectified that mistake. Or they take Will McDonald, whatever they want to do. If Sam Darnold never gets traded, I'm not sitting here and saying the Jets win a Super Bowl, win a championship. Sam Darnold still being on the Jets would have made this team competitive by now. But he didn't get enough of a chance to do that. Because the coaching staff didn't believe in him. Management didn't believe in him. And Woody Johnson didn't believe in him. Jets fans caught a lot of strays on social media over the last 2 weeks. I didn't care. Because I never gave up on Sam Darnold. Anybody that knows me knows I never gave up on Sam Darnold. Yeah. I think we were doing this segment by that point. I don't remember for sure. I think we were. But if we were, I would have said on this very show that Zach Wilson is not the answer. Sam Darnold was still the answer at the time. Nobody believed me. I never once gave up on him. When he went to San Francisco, I figured that's probably a good thing for him. When he went to Minnesota, I had a couple of his cards. I sold them just because I was like, you know what? If he doesn't play well, this way I can make a little bit extra off, and maybe I'll buy. I was like, maybe I'll buy more if they don't have such a good season and whatever. Then they go 14-3, and I was like, this is the guy I've been telling you is in there, and he has Justin Jefferson to do it with. He played 2 bad games at the end of the season, lose week 18, lose the first round of the playoffs. Okay. Learned from those mistakes, goes to Seattle with JSN, and they make it all the way to the end, and they're hoisting the trophy. They still have the 3rd most cap space going into the offseason, folks. That team is going to get better. Now, also, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Kenneth Walker is a free agent.
Yeah. Yeah,
they will probably re-sign him.
Yeah, he's going into, and it was alluded to last night, but he's going. This is one heck of an audition to the NFL of what he's capable of. If people didn't know when he came into the league, and he will definitely, he may be.
Well, he's not going to be a free agent. He'll get tagged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to have to figure it out, but I would imagine you'd want to do right by somebody and not franchise tag, because there's something that goes to that. Yes, they get a lot of money in, I think it's like the average of the top 5 or top 10 at that position. So you get a ton of money for that year, but the longevity,
I think they'll still sign him to a
long-term
deal.
What matters. So I think Kenneth Walker beyond. He may be the highest paid by year NFL running back.
He probably will be. And he deserves it. He did. Folks, I've been telling people for 2 years, you know, when it comes to like his cards and stuff, I'm like, why is he so cheap? He's really good.
Yeah.
And yet his really nice, like immaculate RPAs are less than $100. Why? Now they've probably doubled. So anybody that's sitting on Ken Walker stuff, sell them now. I'm happy for you. But I don't see them letting him walk. He's either going to get re-signed to an extension or they're going to tag him and probably agree to an extension later. But they have so much money to go out and get. They can go out. They could keep Cooper Kupp. Maybe bring in another receiver to complement them. Improve the offensive line. Make improvements to the secondary. Folks, that team very well might be back there next year. The NFC is not that good outside of the NFC West. Matthew Stafford's not going anywhere. The Rams aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
The 49ers are going to be the third best team in that division, most likely. I don't think the Bears are that good. The Packers definitely aren't that good. Maybe the Giants take a step forward next year, but who knows?
Eagles might trend down.
Probably still good. The Eagles could easily step back. AJ Brown's probably not going to be on the team next year. Guys, the NFC is weak. Outside of the West, it is a weak conference. A very weak conference.
Yeah, but that might be the, the gamut right there. Is we could be seeing for the foreseeable future, maybe definitely next year, with SoFi Stadium being the host and it staying in California for another
Rams
year.
are going to want to get there.
I think
the Rams are going to want to do that again.
I think the Rams and the Seahawks could be the determinant of who makes it to the next title game.
For sure. I mean, if they play that NFC Championship game at SoFi, the Rams could be like, hey, we win this game, we're playing right back here 2 weeks from now trying to win a championship again.
Yeah.
That'd be the second time they're playing for a title in their own stadium. So they're going to want to be there next year. 100%. So they're going to continue to get better. Yeah. So it's really, to me, it's the Rams and the Seahawks, and that's it. The rest of the NFC, I don't like. Maybe the Eagles, maybe. But again, they are going to lose A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
There's no way he is staying.
I'd put the Bears in that area, not in the same vein of the
They're
Rams
probably the
and
next
the
tier
Seahawks,
down.
but I'd put them.
I would say
behind, like right there.
I would say the Bears are in the next tier down by themselves. I don't know. I don't think the
Giants will get better. Jackson Dart,
for sure.
John Harbaugh's there now.
Giants are going to get better. Dallas is probably going to, Dallas isn't going to have back-to-back or have 3 straight losing seasons. It's not going to happen. They're going to be back next year and try to win. But ultimately, to me, it's going to be Seattle or the Rams to go to the game to go to the championship next year, and that'll probably be your NFC Championship game again.
Yeah. Would
not shock me one bit.
Let me hit you with this. Murph brought up cap space moving forward. The team that has the most cap space is one of the worst teams in the NFL. That being the Tennessee Titans. They have almost $100 million to spend. They have 99 and change. The Raiders. They have the number one. So the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick. The Raiders probably are going to take Fernando Mendoza.
If they don't, they are
morons.
To
To their credit, a year where you have the number 1 pick and you take Mendoza, you have over 87, almost $88 million to spend as the second highest in the league in cap space to go find yourself an entire offensive line to protect him. So good on the Raiders if they do it right, to have the number 1 overall pick and a ton of money to go out there in free agency and to be enticing or to go after trades. Murph's Jets have the 3rd highest with over 82 million.
No,
Yeah,
I must have read that wrong.
They have over $82 million to spend. The Chargers have over $82 million to spend. And the Seahawks have almost...
So the 5th most, okay.
They have almost $75 million to spend in this. Just so you know, folks, there are 12
I don't know where I saw 3rd most.
There are 12 teams of the 32 NFL franchises that are over the cap currently that have to figure this thing out. There are 12 teams that are in the negative, starting with Green Bay. The team that is most in the negative, the Kansas City Chiefs, are almost $58 million over
Shocker.
the cap. And this
So
is
what happens when you pay your quarterback $50 million a year?
But here's the shocker. The second worst team for being over the cap right now, the New Orleans Saints, are almost $42 million over the cap. And by the way,
that's every year though.
Between the team that's worst with the cap right now, between Kansas City and the second worst, which is New Orleans, there is a gap of over $16 million. So the Chiefs are 57 plus, and then the closest to them is 41.7 for New Orleans. Minnesota, Dallas, Miami, Cleveland, Chicago, Buffalo is almost $10 million over the cap. Jacksonville is over $9 million over the cap. Detroit's over, Houston's over, and Green Bay is over by a little over $4 million. Everybody else has cap money to spend. The Giants don't have much. They have $7 million. Philly doesn't have much. They have 9.8. And then when you look at the rest of the league, like I said, the top 5 from Tennessee to Seattle, beyond them, Washington has the 6th most money, almost $68 million. Cincinnati has over $53 million to spend in cap space currently going into the 2026-27 season. The Rams, that we talk about being one of those teams that could vie for a title game and play in their home stadium, the Rams, like the Seahawks, have a bunch of money. The Rams have almost $47 million to spend. The Steelers, who could keep Aaron Rodgers, have over $44 million to spend. The Colts have almost 35. Arizona has almost 35. New England, who just made it to the title game, has over $33 million. Atlanta has almost 28. Denver has 26 and change. San Fran has 25.5. Baltimore has 22.6. Tampa has over $14 million. Carolina has over $11 million of the teams that I didn't mention yet. So that's your top 18. So you look at the teams that are over, you look at the teams that are under, and you look at Seattle saying you just won a title, and to Murph's point, you just won a title and you have over $74 million to spend. The Raiders get the number 1 pick. They have the money to spend on an offensive line, and the Rams are in the top 8 of the amount of money they have to spend. It's almost $30 million less than the Seahawks, but it could help a team that's good, that has fought with the Seahawks in division and out of division. It could make the Rams continue to be a viable opponent to the Seahawks if Murph and I are correct, and we see Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams toward the end of this thing in this upcoming season like we did in this past season. Let's take a step aside, and speaking of coming to the end of something, we will be coming to the conclusion of DT and Murphy here after the break in this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I kept the sheet. The sheet is here on both sides of all of the friendly wagers Murph and I had. Where are we right? Where are we wrong? And what things didn't happen at all. We'll get into all of that. And, of course, we'll round out the show with a video of my mom, who's not a Seattle fan, nor is she a New England fan, but she was very happy that a 2-point conversion fell incomplete. We'll talk about that right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others is really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen, and we hand bread our chicken, and we hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. All right. And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Murph and I had a bunch of friendly wagers, and I had them written here in the studio of what was going to potentially happen or not happen, and I'm going to go down the line here, and we'll take a look at them. So, Sam Darnold, with him having inside these Great Lakes Honda City studios, Sam Darnold passing touchdowns over under 2. I said over. Murph said push it 2. We were both wrong. Sam had 1. Rashid Shaheed, special teams touchdown. I said yes. Murph said no. No is correct. Kenneth Walker III, 2 touchdowns of any kind. I said he would be under. Murph said push it 2. I was correct. He had 0. Drake May, rushing touchdowns over under 2. Murph and I both said under. Correct, he had 0 rushing touchdowns. Drake May or Sam Darnold having more interceptions. Murph and I both said May. We are correct. He had 2. Total score over under 45.5. The score was 42 points. We said over. We were incorrect. It was under. The minus 4.5 line in favor of Seattle. We said it's going to be a bigger margin, so we picked the over. We were correct. Will there be a Transformers commercial in the title game? I said yes. Murph said no. The correct answer is no. Marshawn Lynch sightings. Thank you to all the commercials that used him, because all I said was sighting. So it was over under 3. We both picked the under. He was seen, as far as I know, he was seen twice. There was a commercial at the end of the game, and there was one during the game. Different things. And then Brady being referenced over under 7 times. Honestly,
I don't think I heard it at all.
Right. So we said over 7. We were both wrong. Doritos having a different commercial, over under 2. Lay's led the way. It was all Lay's potato chips. It was a daughter.
I don't think I saw one.
A daughter and her father reminiscing about this farm and the potatoes, and it's an emotional commercial, and it hits your heartstrings, and it was about Lay's potato chips. Doritos apparently thought, hey, we're not doing it. Lay's had multiple commercials. Lay's had that very emotional commercial that stuck with me. I said over 2. Murph said push it to. Doritos, we don't think had any. Lay's were the ones that led the way. Avengers Doomsday full trailer. We both said yes, it didn't happen. Now, it's interesting because Robert Downey Jr. posted a photo with his wife that had the SB written out and had this Doomsday. I'll show it to you. So, this is very interesting because there may have been potentially, maybe there was a plan to have one, but they decided not to do it. This is the picture that you can see of RDJ and his wife, and it says SB Doomsday, and it's of Doom holding a football that looks like a trophy, and they posted that, but we never saw a commercial, so I don't know what's going on with that. And then we had Avengers Doomsday trailer would be when. This doesn't matter because it wasn't seen. Avengers Doomsday Robert Downey Jr. appearance doesn't matter because it wasn't seen. Now, the Olympics 2026 commercials over under 6. We both picked the over, and I mean they consistently.
I counted at least 6 or 7. It was a lot.
Yeah. So obviously, listen. You're on NBC. You got the Olympics right after the title game, and you got the Olympics.
Mike Tirico did it from the field,
right? And you're gonna promote the heck out of it because, let's be real. Why would you take a massive opportunity on your channel to not promote the next massive opportunity on your channel? So that makes sense. And then which halftime show will be watched more? The official halftime show or Turning Point? I don't
know that we're gonna know about that.
Yeah, so
at least not for a while.
Yeah, I watched both. The numbers that I'm seeing this morning have stated that the official halftime show with Bad Bunny
naturally
had a lot. But here's the thing, and here's the caveat: did people watch it, or did they just leave the game on?
That's true.
So there's that. There's that
I
side
read
of it. And if you didn't have YouTube TV or certain ways of accessing, could you get Turning Point? So accessibility of watching Turning Point, they couldn't show it on X. So the accessibility of one versus the other can affect the numbers.
They didn't. Wait a minute. It wasn't on Twitter. It wasn't on X.
That they couldn't.
It was supposed to be.
They couldn't officially put it through there. So there was.
You mean like put it on their TV? You mean
there was a note about, I don't know. I saw something this morning about it. So the accessibility.
Yeah, we watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, the accessibility.
By the way,
of one versus the other.
Gabby Barrett and Lee Bryce were phenomenal.
Yeah, Gabby Barrett.
Kid Rock and Brantley Gilbert were good too.
Yeah.
But Gabby Barrett was amazing, and Kid Rock was added a verse to Cody Johnson's "Till You Can't," basically talking about God and everything, and I thought that was really powerful. And the way also, because if you don't know the song "Till You Can't," it's a Cody Johnson song. I'm wondering if maybe Kid Rock wrote it, because I know Brantley Gilbert did a Jason Aldean song that he wrote, Dirt Road Anthem. Yeah. But "Till You Can't" is a upbeat, fast-paced, lots of instruments.
Yeah.
He slowed it down and made it really emotional and powerful, which I thought was really cool. Did not watch the Bad Bunny halftime show. Didn't care to watch it. So I very much enjoyed the TPUSA halftime show, although we did miss the first possession of the second half.
Yeah. So
Patriots went 3-and-out, so we didn't miss much, but we turned the game back on, and all of a sudden it's 14-20 in the third quarter. We're like, wait, we missed it?
Yeah.
But no, I think they did a great job, and the tribute to Charlie Kirk at the end I thought was really emotional and powerful too. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the accessibility of one versus the other. How many people watched the halftime show versus just had it on and walked out of the room, went to the bathroom, got some food, got the dessert after having a meal going into halftime. So there's a lot to be said about the numbers of who just kept the game on, who didn't really watch it, who kind of sort of paid attention to it. There was a bunch of people saying that they couldn't understand it. They wish there were subtitles. And then, the accessibility of the other. So whatever numbers end up shaking out, the reality of it all is some people might look like they watched, but they didn't. Some people might have wanted to watch, but didn't know how. Some people may simply just have a TV where I got NBC. I don't know anything about streaming. I'm leaving the game on while I go pee. So I'm leaving the halftime show on while I go pee. So the reality of it all is these numbers are never, and I tell people this all the time, and
they're never accurate.
Numbers are never complete. When everybody, what the numbers, give me the numbers. And I tell people all the time, I said, I can have a radio station go up against my show online, and they can say they have 20,000, and I can say I have 800, and I can make their 20,000 turn into 800 or less really quick, because I know how numbers are manipulated and ballooned and how people take advantage of certain things. So there's a way to go about breaking things down that people probably don't want you to do, but I know how to do because I've worked in and out of traditional media. So whatever it ends up being, I watched both. My honest opinion, as somebody who appreciates all different types of music, as somebody who has Hispanic heritage, not from Puerto Rico, but Hispanic heritage, and, somebody who loves Puerto Rican culture. So let's get all that out of the way. It's got nothing to do with Puerto Rico versus America and all this crap. Not everything's racist, folks. Between watching two guys grind on each other and a man grab his crotch multiple times versus hearing about God, I'll choose God. And I'll leave it at that.
100%. Also, can I also give Charlie Puth his flowers for his national anthem? It's not up there with Stapleton and Whitney.
Yeah.
But it was very good. Made it very soulful. It didn't have the emotion to it that Chris Stapleton's did, because there was not a dry eye in that stadium 2 years ago when Chris Stapleton sang the national anthem. But I thought Charlie Puth was very good with the background vocalists and the background instrumentals that you don't normally hear for a national anthem at the big game. I thought it was very good. And, I might disagree with some of the things he says, but you can't argue with the fact that Charlie Puth is an outstanding performer, and I thought it was a great national anthem.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, a lot of good stuff had come from this game. Obviously, the game itself was good. I want to share
under by a second and a half, though, by the way, for anybody that bet on it.
What'd you say?
It was under by a second and a half, though, if anybody bet on it.
Yeah. And so I want to give, as a final note here in this edition of the morning after, a wake-up call coming to you right after the title game, I want to share something with you. This was my mom's immediate response.
I think I know why.
After the game. So here is Mama and her thoughts.
Yes, your mother won. This is the happiest person that didn't care about who won the game. She just needed a 9 and a 3. I wanted my money. I got it. How you feel, Ma?
Good.
Yeah. So,
I want to know how much she won from that box.
So Mom won over $100, and so she knew that 9 and 3. However, she didn't care who did it, who got it. So I did a post after the game that said, for a woman who didn't have a dog in the race, didn't care if the Seahawks or the Patriots won, just needed a 9 and a 3. And when it came down to it, and she thought she might have it, then she didn't know. Then she kind of wasn't talking about it. Then she was talking about it. And ultimately, she took a look at it, and it was coming down the stretch. And she was like, wait, I'm not out of it yet. And then they scored a touchdown, the Patriots. And they lined up for a 2-point conversion. And I saw Vrabel do this. I saw him put up the 2 instead of the 1. And I was like, this is great for you, Mom. And I said it a couple times. I said, Ma, this is great because extra points almost automatic. So you're in a great place right now that this could not happen. And so they tried the 2-point. It fell incomplete, and she held on for the final 2:21 to go into her place of work today and cash in. So shout out to my mom for having the second biggest celebration to the Seattle Seahawks fans. So
also, by the way, why did Seattle not go for 2 on the first touchdown? Or why did the Patriots not go for 2 on the first touchdown? I had 9-6. I had Seattle 9, New England 6.
Okay.
So had they gone for that and not gotten it, I would have hit third quarter.
Okay.
So and who knows? Maybe the fourth quarter too. But I would have at least hit the third quarter if that was the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little disappointed by that one too. But my boxes were shot by the time when they kicked that extra point. My boxes were shot.
Yeah.
And I also had 0-0, folks. We couldn't get 10-0 at halftime. Really?
Yeah.
Come on. 0-0 is a really good box.
Yeah. So
I didn't win squat with it.
Yeah. Shout out to Mom, who got to celebrate her first ever victory of that kind. And shout out to the Seahawks defense who came through for my wonderful mom and a sweetheart of a person who gives to everybody else. So it was good to see my mom have a victory there. And I know my grandma was excited because my grandma liked to roll the dice in her time. So shout out to Mom for that, and God bless to everybody. Hope you all enjoyed the game. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Murph, any final notes that you would like to make the morning after Patriots Seahawks, where the Seahawks win their second title game ever in these 60 of the SB, and winning this title now with a 29-13 victory, move forward with the money and the opportunity to potentially come back and do it again. And we'll see how the Patriots' young team and Mike Vrabel, with so much early success, his first season there as the head coach, and the second season of Drake May. What are your thoughts as we step forward? Any final note?
Really just happy to see Sam Darnold finally get his flowers and get his ring. He more than deserves it. There's some guys on Seattle, too, that were also ex-Jets. Jason Myers, a former Jet. Leonard Williams, a former Jet. Sam Darnold, a former Jet. I believe there was one more defensive lineman that's a former Jet. So really happy for them. Also, any of you who were watching the Olympics and heard about the Lindsey Vonn after she tore her ACL last week, had a nasty crash in the women's downhill final, broke the same leg where she tore the ACL. So she's recovering. She's from what I've read, she's in good spirits. Anybody hating on her for taking someone's spot, shut up. She earned her place there. She still wanted to compete. It's not like she got an honorary, Olympic team position. She earned her way there. She did well in the World Cup circuit. She won a race on the World Cup circuit. She earned her spot in Italy. Just because she tore her ACL doesn't mean she still can't compete if she wants to try. And I give her credit for trying. She came around that gate hard. She caught her arm on the gate, and it was not pretty. But from what I've read, she had surgery on that leg, and I would assume they repaired the ACL as well while they were in there. But, I hope for a speedy recovery there. If this is officially the end for Lindsey Vonn, which I can't imagine it wouldn't be, just want to shout her out on an incredible career. Probably her and Michaela Schifrin are the two biggest names in skiing over the last 20 years. So it was always fun to watch Lindsey Vonn race. And it's a shame that it's going to end like this, but hopefully for her, it's a speedy recovery and hopefully no residual effects from this injury or any of the ones that she has had in the past in the rest of her life.
Yeah, so shout out to Lindsey Vonn. Shout out to everyone out there competing and willing to represent their country. The Olympics constantly and consistently show the world that there is a way for all of us to come together and be peaceful and be one. And I always say that it'd be great if the world could mirror the Olympics, where we can all be in one place at the same time and continue to move forward in the same direction together. So let's continue to do that, and let's compete in good spirit. Let's have fun, and shout out to everybody's country all around the world. Enjoy it. Enjoy the Olympics. We'll have plenty to talk about this week on Wake Up Call by the grace of God. Murph, it's always good to talk with you. Sam Darnold, it's good to see you shine, and we will talk with you all very soon. God bless. And take care. Murph, thank you.
Yes, sir.
That coming from Murph here on the show. DT and Murphy on Wake Up Call, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. And I want to take one final step aside as we will wrap up today's broadcast right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over to GG Cards and Breaks today. Let them know that DT sent you. They open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Don't miss a moment of an opportunity for you to be a big kid. Get closer to your favorite players, your favorite teams, as well as your favorite games and favorite characters. It's all at GG Cards and Breaks waiting for you with all the supplies you need to protect your cards and all of the wonderful cards that, just from singles to packs, boxes, graded cards. You never know what you're going to find. It's a treasure hunt for your kid's soul every single week. We'll see you over at GG Cards and Breaks, and we thank Josh and Anthony and the entire team there. Big time thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You can't miss it. The giant brick building waiting to see you, Megan Sorber and her team. The awesome story of Megan Sorber starting out working at Chick-fil-A when she was going to school, and now she is employing those that are going to school and working at Chick-fil-A. So coming full circle and serving you in our community of Central New York, head over to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. We look forward to seeing you over there, and we thank you for all the support for Chick-fil-A, those wonderful and famous flavors that you love so very much, and the limited time offerings at Chick-fil-A DeWitt. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks for being with us on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Of course, once the shows go live, they jump into the archives, and you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Today's episode is being added as we speak to all of these wonderful archives. And of course, a big time thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, Bryan's Landing, Canine Camp, Dog Daycare, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world that you need to be going over to on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool for all of your Valentine's Day needs. Chick-fil-A in Cicero, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Mother's Cupboard, Game Point Sports Complex, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Onondaga Community College Lasers. Find the Lasers in the Laser Lounge with student athletes, coaches, and administration. You can hang out with the Lasers here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our OCC playlist. The Lasers are also available on OnondagaLasers.com, so check them out there for scores, schedules, and more. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. You will find student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni throughout the year. We thank all of the wonderful guests that we've had on the broadcast telling their story here, the greater story of Binghamton and their personal stories along the way. It has been an absolute tribute to the Binghamton Bearcat family here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I thank Gene Marshall for seeing my vision, and I thank the coaches and student athletes for being a part of it, as well as the staff that helps to set up these wonderful conversations. Many thanks to all of you. You could find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. I want to thank Murph for being with me here in the morning after celebrating the NFL title game, SB60. We can't say that Ooper Soul word. We can't say it together. That's why I'm saying SB60 and the NFL title game. Shout out to the Seahawks, 29-13 victory. Shout out to Jason Myers, Kenneth Walker III, Sam Darnold, the O-line, the D-line, and all of the Seattle Seahawks, the 12th man. Shout out to Chris Pratt, a man of God and a wonderful actor and somebody who got to bring out the Seahawks in this title game. Shout out to the New England Patriots, to John Bon Jovi, who got to bring out the Patriots, as well as Mike Vrabel and what he's done in year one back with his alma mater. And, of course, many congrats to the entire team and Christian Gonzalez, who was the MVP of this game for them, for Drake May. And please don't disrespect. And I mean, listen, you got to constructively go through these things, but there's constructive criticism, there's destructive criticism, and there's simply just being a jerk. So, yes, the Seahawks won. Celebrate both of these teams. Be kind. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk about people and to people the way you want to be talked about and spoken to. And God bless to everyone that got to be there, to all the fans, and to everybody that watched. Thanks to Turning Point for a great show. Thanks to Bad Bunny for going out there and doing a great show. Everybody, I hope you had fun. I hope you just celebrate each other's differences and be kind to each other. Thanks to Murph. Thanks to you, the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say, as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon.